Music Perception and Cognition, Module 2 delves deeply into the cognitive and perceptual mechanisms by which humans interpret and understand music. This module investigates how the brain processes various musical elements such as pitch, rhythm, tempo, timbre, melody, and harmony, and how these elements are integrated to form coherent musical experiences. Understanding music perception and cognition is fundamental to appreciating the psychological impact of music, and this module bridges foundational auditory science with higher level cognitive functions involved in music comprehension. The study of music perception encompasses the sensory and neural processes responsible for detecting and discriminating sound stimuli, while cognition involves the mental operations required to organize, interpret, and derive meaning from those stimuli. This module covers both bottom-up sensory mechanisms and top-down cognitive influences such as memory, attention, expectation, and pattern recognition. You will explore advanced theoretical models, including Gestalt principles applied to music, predictive coding theories, and computational models of music cognition. The module also examines individual variability in music perception and cognition, influenced by factors like musical training, cultural background, and neurodiversity. Learning objectives for Module 2. By the end of this module, you will be able to explain the physiological and psychological processes involved in auditory perception of music, differentiate between key musical elements, and describe how each is processed cognitively. Analyze theoretical models explaining how the brain organizes and predicts musical information, evaluate the role of memory and attention in musical perception and performance, discuss how individual differences, including cultural background and musical training, influence music cognition. Detailed content breakdown. First, auditory perception fundamentals, the physical properties of sound, frequency, amplitude, waveform, how the ear transduces sound waves into neural signals, psychoacoustics, dot, the relationship between physical sound and perceptual experience, perceptual phenomena, pitch perception, loudness, timbre, differentiation, temporal resolution. Second pitch, perception and processing, the nature of pitch, dot, fundamental frequency and harmonics, mechanisms of pitch detection, place theory versus temporal theory, absolute pitch versus relative pitch, cognitive and neural differences, role of pitch in melody and harmony perception. 3. Rhythm, tempo, and timing, neural encoding of rhythm and beat perception, temporal processing : duration, tempo, and meter, sensory motor synchronization : how humans move and tap to music, rhythm perception in non-human animals and evolutionary perspectives. 4th, timbre and sound quality, acoustic features defining timbre, spectral, temporal, and dynamic properties. Perceptual differentiation of instruments and voices, emotional and expressive roles of timbre in music, neural correlates of timbre perception. 5th, melody and harmony cognition, cognitive processing of melodic contour and scale systems, tonal hierarchies and expectancy in Western and non-Western music, harmony perception, dot, consonance, dissonance, and chord progression, brain mechanisms involved in harmonic processing. 6. Memory and attention in music, short-term and long-term memory for music, auditory scene analysis, segmentation, and grouping of musical streams, role of attention in selective listening and music appreciation, impact of working memory on musical tasks such as sight reading and improvisation. 7. Higher order cognitive processes, predictive coding and expectation in music perception, pattern recognition and schema theory and music cognition, emotional and semantic associations with musical structures, integration of multisensory inputs, visual, motor, in musical experience. 8. Individual and cultural differences. Influence of musical expertise and training on perception and cognition, cross-cultural variation in pitch, rhythm, and harmony, perception, neurodiversity and music cognition, autism spectrum, emusia, synesthesia. Developmental aspects of music perception across the lifespan.